Welcome back to the neighborhood, boys and girls. Our next guest is Pauline Salunga from Prime Realty Partners. Pauline, welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you, thank you.
We do stuff a little bit different, and I know you're going to have a really cool story that people may not know about you.
Yeah.
We like to talk about the personal side of stuff. It's not really like, oh, this is how many units I did. We always make the same horrible joke, like no one goes to second grade and says, I want to be a realtor when I grow up. So talk a little bit about your journey from little second grade Pauline to realtor. Like, how did you get here? Where did you come from? And I know I've heard a little bit about you, like all the different stuff. So talk a little bit about what brought you to this point in your life.
Honestly, well, I feel like nowadays people do go up in second grade saying they want to be a realtor.
Now that they got $1 million listings.
Oh my God, everything's all about real estate. Netflix, Hulu, they all have their own reality TV show about real estate. But what really got me started into real estate is how I grew up. I grew up in the Philippines and then moved to Abu Dhabi and Dubai for a little bit with my family. And over there, it's all about real estate.
Yeah.
You know, you see them building the skyscrapers. Everything's about how much real estate is bringing into the country and this and that. And my dad, growing up, was always a handyman. Now he owns his own handyman company and renovations. And I just grew up seeing that. Growing up, and you know, after COVID, the whole real estate boom just happened, and I was like, why not? And it kind of just fell into my lap. I ended up, you know, finding out more about real estate, and then one of the guys that I know from the country club that I used to work at offered me a job at his development company and also to be in his team at Berkshire Hathaway. So I kind of just started going, and I ended up loving it.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some of the differences? Now, you're way more cultured when you're talking about the Philippines and Abu Dhabi and all this. What are some of the differences culture-wise in the real estate market over there? Like, you know, when we see Abu Dhabi, it's like it was a desert and then they built these billion-dollar skyscrapers. So what are some of the differences in selling real estate or in the market there as opposed to here, you know?
Well, here almost everything is by the book, you know. I work primarily with first-time home buyers who are buying their primary homes, living there, you know, moving from their rental to their first house or first-time investor. So it's a lot scaled down. But if you think about Dubai, you know, it came from nothing. 10 years ago, it was desert.
Yeah.
And now it's all skyscrapers. But I think it's the mindset of the sky's the limit. You know, everyone back then was telling them, why would you build anything over sand?
Right, in the desert.
But they had the money for it. And they had the vision. And they had the people to help them. And look up where it's at now. You know, you think Dubai, you think real estate.
Yep.
You think oil and real estate. Those are the two things that pop in your head. And I think, like, here in America, it's a little bit, you know, when people think of money, they don't necessarily think about real estate right away, which I think is the best way to make money, to make passive income and to really grow generational wealth. But I think here, you know, everyone grew up, you know, you gotta finish college, you gotta get your master's, you gotta be a doctor, a lawyer to make money. But that's just not the mindset over there. Over there, you make your own money.
Right.
You know, who cares if you didn't graduate college? If you have the right vision and the right attitude for it, you're going to make it, which is so different from what's seen in America.
Now, over there in the living structure, do most people own? Do most people rent? Is it more townhouses, rentals, and condos? Because, I mean, it's skyscrapers, so it's not single-family homes.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Does the majority of people own, or do the majority of people rent, and 20 people own 1,000 units over there?
So when I was living there, you couldn't even really own unless you were an Emirati. You know, the locals over there. They were the only ones that had the right to own. But now you can buy anything and everything over there. I haven't lived there since 2014, 2015, and in the past 8 years, it's really changed.
Yeah.
But you see how drastic everything is over there. But in Abu Dhabi, it's all villas and townhomes. But in Dubai, it's all, you know, condos and apartments. But most people there are renting.
Right.
Because when you get a job over there, they pay for your whole family's expenses. School, housing, cars, allowances, everything.
Okay.
So most people that work there are coming from different countries. So before you even get there, your company sets you up with an apartment, which is great.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
And the buildings over there, amazing. They all have rooftop
brand
pools.
new.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're not finding 20-year-old carpet. And like the views are insane.
Right.
So every single apartment building has floor-to-ceiling windows, and you're not going to complain if you're renting, especially if you're not paying for it.
Have you been back since?
No. I've been going to the Philippines a lot. I try to go every year, every other year, but I haven't gone to Dubai. I'm telling myself I'm not going to go back over there until I have FU money.
Okay.
Because, like, what's the point?
Right. Go over there and be a pauper. You can't do that.
Yeah. I have to drive in a Bentley.
Sure.
If
you're going over there. You can't.
Why not?
No, it can't be in a Camry.
And you can't really have fun unless you have money over there. Because what are you going to do?
Right.
It's all about the nightlife.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, having a Philippine background, I grew up with some friends that were Philippines. They are really strong family people. What do you think? What advantage do you think that gives you here in our country and in our workforce? Do you think that gives you an advantage to have that bond and that cultural backbone of the family?
I mean, I think so. Just because Philippines is so different from other Asian countries, just because we were colonized by Spain up until 100 years ago, so it's just a melting pot of everything. So I think it definitely helps me in real estate. I think that's why I'm so good with working with first-time home buyers, because I meet these people and I'm very down to earth and they feel like they can relate to me. And I think moving a lot, especially when I was younger and having to adapt really quickly and having the background of being in the Middle East and Asia and now in America, I feel like it's so much easier to relate to people. And I think that's what really sets me apart from other realtors. Even though I'm young, they feel like they can relate to me and that I can hold their hand and walk them through everything. Instead of, most of the top producers that are, very suit and tie, here's the house, here's all the statistics, while with me what I do is I try to relate to my client more rather than talk about the financial and the statistics side of things.
Right. 'Cause looking at it from a statistical standpoint, you would think that you would have a lot working against you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in a very male-dominated industry. You're a minority, and you're younger.
Yeah.
So, like, you would think that would be intimidating.
Yeah.
How do you get your back up and
I
go
just
after
smile.
it? You just smile?
I just smile. And, there's really nothing you can do. You could be the best agent out there, but if the people you're meeting off of Zillow, off of your Facebook ads, you're meeting a stranger, if they don't like you, they're not going to work with you.
Sure.
I've had so many clients that I've worked with that, were working with a realtor before me for months, but they didn't really like their realtor's personality, so they didn't care. I mean, you're not obligated to work with your realtor now. You could switch a million times if you wanted to, and most people do. But I think it's a very emotional thing buying a house. It's not like buying a car.
No.
You're gonna live there for the rest of your life, and when my clients are walking through the house, they're not picturing the money they're gonna spend. They're picturing what memories can I make in here, and that's what people say the most. I've had clients cry over seeing houses, and they say, I can just really picture my baby growing up here, and they're tearing up. And if I was stone cold, very statistical, I don't think they would really want to buy that house from me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what do you think prepares you? Like, how do you... No, let me start that again. Do you ever get the negative self-talk? Do you ever get the, they're going to think I'm too young, they're not going to like it? Do you get that? And if you do get that, how do you overcome that? How do you refocus and get back to kick-ass Pauline?
So I do get that a lot, especially when you work with investors. They're all males. They've all done this a million times, and I've had to separate myself from clients because of that. I walk in, I'm petite, I look young, they know I'm young, I sound young, and before I even say, hi, how are you, they start asking me how old I am and this and that, and it's just, you can't work with someone that you don't trust.
Mm-hmm.
So when things like that happen, I just have to tell myself, just fake it until you make it. Sometimes I wear a fake engagement ring to my showings, especially if it's an investor showing, because that just makes me look older.
Sure.
And I'll wear clothes that makes me look older. And whenever like I run into those problems where I start doubting myself, I just remind myself that I'm not gonna make it far if I let little things that happen bother me.
Right.
And I have a good team behind me with Rob and Paul.
Sure.
Always reminding me that, I've done so much and I can do so much, and that we all had to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's good that I'm starting young.
And how long have you been licensed as an agent?
A year.
A year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So not that long at all.
No. And so that's like awesome to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Like not most people, but there are a lot of agents that have been doing this for a year that have sold 2 houses and are still considered fairly successful. You know what I mean? So you're like doing it a lot different than
And for me, it's
other
sink
people.
or swim.
Right.
I didn't finish college. I've tried every career on the book. I have bills to pay. Thank God I'm supported by Rob and Paul, who, provide us with really good coaching, leads and all that stuff, because I feel like if I wasn't in the right team, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now.
Sure.
Which most agents run into. Some new agents that are just by themselves or in the wrong team end up leaving a couple months in because they don't see any progress.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit of future stuff.
Okay.
We talked about past stuff, future stuff. Put yourself 2 years in the future, May of 2025. Paint a little picture of where you're going to be in 2 years and some of the goals that you have set that you're going to accomplish in the next 2 years.
2 years, at least one investment property.
Okay.
Whether that's a rental or a flip. My dad and I are actually looking right now, so
Okay.
hopefully we'll end up having one of those by next year. And I want to be able to, close multi-million dollars a month.
Okay.
The goal
A
this
multi-million a month?
a month.
I like
the
that.
goal
I like
the goal
that.
this year is $1 million a month.
Okay.
Some people will say that that's unattainable for someone who's just starting, but if I don't put my goal up there,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
If you set your
wanna
goal
come
at
up here.
$250,000, it's easy to make it,
Yeah.
but what did you really do? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So set your goals high.
and like when your goals are right here, you wouldn't want to go past that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just set my goal really high,
I like
and I tell myself that if other people can do it, why can't I?
Sure.
And we all have the same 24 hours, 7 days.
Nice. Now, what about in the future? Do you think you'll see yourself building a team? Do you see yourself mentoring younger people, or do you think you're going to be a solo agent and kind of doing your own thing?
So I tell Paul and Rob every time I see them, I will ride their coattails until I can't anymore.
Okay.
I love my team so much, and I'll tell anyone this, that if I wasn't there, I wouldn't be selling anything. And it's just you
had that experience. You know what I mean? You were somewhere else, and you were. I remember talking to you. You were kind of struggling a little bit. You weren't producing. Now it's not a coincidence that you changed the environment and your production has gone up.
And we met before I even sold anything.
Right.
But I would ride their coattails, whether it's them opening their own brokerage or Paul opening his own office. I just want to be there supporting them just because they help me out a lot, and I can't imagine managing other people.
No,
they always say that. Paul and Rob always says, in 5 years you'll have your own team or start your own team. I can't.
That's not your thing.
If I don't have them telling me this and that, I'll forget. I have really bad ADHD, and if no one's reminding me, I won't do it. Thank God I have my transaction coordinator, Rebecca Nylon. Without her, I wouldn't get anything done.
Right.
I'm good with the face-to-face stuff.
Look, if you don't know your strengths and weaknesses, then you don't really go. If you put yourself in a position where someone takes advantage of your strengths and supports your weaknesses, that's That's the key. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you don't have to be good at everything. People are like, oh, this is what I suck at, so I want to get better at that. Like,
Yeah.
no. Find someone else to do what you suck at. Don't try to get good at everything. That doesn't make any sense.
That's how CEOs manage huge companies, is because they know how to delegate.
Right.
And I know I'm never going to be good at organizing, so I'm just going to get help.
Find someone. Right.
Yeah.
All right, now we'll do your personal question. You get to interview somebody, alive or dead, throughout history. It could be someone from 5,000 years ago or someone that's still alive right now. You get 30 minutes to interview anybody that you want to. Who's the person, and what's one of the questions that you're going to ask them?
Michael Jackson. I
Okay.
wouldn't ask him any questions. I would just ask him to sing for 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Just to say that I heard him live.
What would the first song you would want to hear be?
I don't even know. Black and White, Dirty Diana, and everything. I will just say, sing whatever you can sing in 30 minutes, and I'll just sit here and listen.
I'm not a huge Michael Jackson fan, but for some reason, when you said that, I was thinking of The Way You Make Me Feel, because that video was a really cool video from the
I
past.
love that song.
Yeah.
Rock My World, everything. Just, Michael, you do your thing.
You do your
I'll just
thing.
sit here.
You're just going to hang out
Yeah.
and fangirl?
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I'll just literally just sit in the corner and just stare and just take it all in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pauline, thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you
by.
so much. This wasn't as scary as I thought.
No, I told you
Yeah.
it's going to be easy. We'll be right back with the next guest on Mr. Mortgage's Neighborhood.